Hey everyone, 10 News reporter Madison Allworth here. We are looking at the devastation. It still has not been officially pronounced, but I mean, essentially, you can't ignore the evidence that clearly a tornado has come through here. I'm going to flip around this camera now so that you can see what I am taking a look at. So here we are, and you're just seeing a ton of debris and devastation. We're on a property here, and I mean, things are just everywhere. There is a lawn chair on that tree. You see that tree, just look at the roots, completely torn up there. Just absolute devastation in terms of, all of this here. You're seeing bits of debris up in trees, and then I can just bring this down, and you're seeing all this here. The family who lives here, Lori, this is her house, and she said, they lost 22 trees during Irma, but nothing like this. Most of this debris that you're seeing, they believe came from their carport. So I'm going to flip this around this way. Here's their house. You can see a bit of that screen. There's 2 cars parked there. There used to be a carport over them. So, a shelter. You can see that one pole sticking up, and that was just completely gone. They have 6 cars on the property. Her father also lives here. Her great-grandfather lives here. So in total, with all of the family members, 6 cars, and every single car had some sort of issue. Things are still bad here. You're feeling the wind. You can, it's things are still going on, which definitely creates problems when you are trying to deal with picking up devastation after an incident like this. This thing has been rattling in the tree all day long. You see just all of that debris wrapped around those trees here. I mean, take a look at this tree here, just completely uprooted. You can see how large that is. And of course, that tree itself has a bunch of garbage and debris now around these chairs. This is essentially Kathleen, Polk County, definitely an area where they believe there's a tornado. And I mean, when you look at this, it's just hard to think otherwise. You're seeing all this debris everywhere. Lori, who I said lives here, she said that she's just finding things everywhere. She started a pile because her one daughter, who's in college, had a pile of clothes outside the door. And she's been finding the clothes all over the yard all morning long. This is Polk County. I see some of you asking, Polk County here. I mean, take a look at that tree back there. You can just see how much it's split and totally destroyed there. Yes, Kathleen, Florida, and we're seeing some more here. I'm gonna bring you to the back. This is the barn. It's completely missing its roof. It's just gone, absolutely gone. I'm gonna do this here, but flip it this way. So this is one of their cars here. And I mean, you can just see how much damage was done to the car, just completely shattered in. Here's the carport, or what used to remain of the, what used to be the carport. This is their screened in backyard pool area, no longer. The family out back there trying to assess and look at that barn. I mean, if you're taking a look, like the entire barn, the roof is just absolutely gone. It's just totally gone. Nothing there. And I talked to the family. Let me flip this back here. So I spoke to Lori and her family about the incident, and she said that it started around 11:30 and it lasted all of a minute, if that. Luckily, amazingly, her daughter was in her bedroom. Lori called her to go turn off the lights outside, and really just in the nick of time, because a tree came through her daughter's bedroom. But luckily she was no longer in the bedroom. Just a ton of damage here in the back of the house. I'm flipping it again. Here's a tree that is just totally on its side, and then just devastating here. This is their screened in back porch. Screen is pretty much all gone. It's completely tilted down. I'm going to be careful. Bear with me. I'm walking, and of course there's a lot of debris here, and I'm trying to stay safe while I'm also showing you all this. So this is their backyard. Here's the pool. Here's all the screen that's fallen in. Just completely, I mean, this back portion of the roof is just off. The shutters are just completely off. And then here's the tree. Lori said that when they came outside, they realized there is a tree now in their pool. Amazingly, and this is what we've been hearing so far, and I hope that we continue to hear this, amazingly, Lori and her entire family is safe. She lives on the property with her husband and daughter. Her father lives in the house just across, and her great-grandfather also lives there, and everyone is okay. So really remarkable considering just how much this area saw. And I know crews are out this morning still trying to figure out, all the damage and exactly what happened. Flipping this again, Lori said that during Irma, they lost 22 trees, but can't even compare to this and everything that's happened here. You can see all those palms just totally knocked over. Again, here's the back of the house. The screen just completely destroyed. This used to have a cover covering the cars. Does not exist anymore. And then again, you see the trees surrounding the house with debris stuck in the tree, everything on the ground, not to mention like the clothes that the family has been collecting. You just see debris everywhere as you're walking and taking a look at all this. I mean, this tree that was uprooted, this giant tree, just completely pulled out and then covered in garbage and debris that has flown around. You see over here, there was a toolbox. They said it was in the barn. Remember that barn I showed you that the roof is missing from? Well, yeah, this was in the barn and it was picked up and just thrown here. Absolutely crazy. We are in Kathleen. I see some of you asking what road this is near. West Campbell Road. We are near West Campbell Road. So what I'm going to do is continue to walk out to the street. You see a trash can over there. I apologize if the footage is a little shaky. I'm just trying to give you the best sense of everything that's here while remaining safe. I'm making my way to the car because we've gotten reports that there is other significant damage just down the road. So we're going to go check that out, make sure everyone's okay, see what's going on there. So I'm going to be as safe as possible as I make my way back out to the street because it wasn't just Lori's home. The neighborhood across the way also had significant damage. From what I've been told and from what you will see soon, there were just trees littering this street. All right, let's see. I'm going to make my way safely. So there were trees littering the street, and families actually came out in the middle of the night to start cutting up. And you can see that they're freshly cutting up these logs so that cars could get by because it was completely blocked. Here's the other side of that damage that we were looking at, all just everywhere. Really, really a lot going on here. So like I mentioned, I'm crossing safely. Okay, so yeah, I mean, here, take a look. This is a power line here, just completely down. More debris hanging on that line. And then you can see the street sign, I mean, just decimated. So I'm gonna make my way back to the car now. Let me walk safely. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have reports that there was another house with significant damage. So we're gonna make our way to that now. I'm getting in the car, so just bear with me. It will take us a bit to get there, but I wanted to stay on Facebook Live so we can bring you there. All right, so we're getting the car set up so that we're good to go. It has been quite the morning. I mean, this has been, like I mentioned earlier, Lori said that she felt the effects of the potential tornado around 11:30 and that it lasted for maybe a minute. But since then, and as for those of you who have been following along and watching, I mean, the rain has just been nonstop since then. It is relentless. Right now it is letting up, which is good, and that's going to be the challenge when it comes to dealing with all of the debris and the destruction that has come with this storm and with these tornadoes. What we've heard time and again, and I'm going to buckle up now that we're pulling out onto the road. What we've heard time and again is that people here in Florida, we're used to hurricanes. We've dealt with hurricanes. Lori and her family, they felt the effects of Irma, 22 trees down, but nothing like this. And from a visual perspective, I've never seen anything of it either. And like I mentioned, so to get you up to speed to what's going on today, the National Weather Service, will be looking out. Polk crews will be out assessing and taking a look at different reports, also taking in visual observation, the different metrics to understand whether or not this is a tornado. So that's why you might be hearing possible tornado. But then when you go and talk to these families and you see what's going on here, it becomes clearer that there was something, and most likely it was a tornado, just based off of the amount of debris that was picked up, how far it was thrown, and how much damage was able to be done. But it's daylight now, it's 10:36, so crews are able to start seeing things and working and understanding what went on here, because that was the difficult part about this potential tornado. It came at night. It was pitch black, and then throughout the course of the night it remained so. And we are still, it's 10:36, we are still in tornado watch for all of Tampa Bay. That's the entire Tampa Bay area is in this tornado watch, and that is going to be until noon. So really important to stay on top of all this, because as we've seen with just the damage that happened here, these things hit hard and they hit fast. So if a watch turns into a warning, that's when you need to be serious about your safety. I see some of you commenting, yes, we have our seatbelts on. We always drive with our seatbelts on. I would not drive without one, and I'm not driving, so I'm in the passenger seat, so we're okay. And we've been going around this morning. We were at Kathleen Middle School earlier today, was on Facebook Live for that as well, and confirmed from the school that the main building did suffer significant damage, and you can just see a bunch of the roof on the lawn of the middle school. Fortunately, which makes sense because it was a Friday evening, no one was in the school, so that's great. So there was no, we don't believe at this point that there were any injuries to anyone, which is wonderful, but still yet to be seen what will be of that school, how much damage it sustained. And as I mentioned earlier, a difficult thing is that it has been raining on and off since the initial tornado or potential tornado. So that has really been a big part of all of this. And so for those of you who are just joining us, we are in the car now heading towards another location where we believe that there was significant tornado damage. We are in Kathleen. We were just at one spot. We're stuck in a bit of traffic because there's people back on the roads after everything that happened last night, trying to get their way. So we're about 7 minutes out. And I see some of you are asking if you have photos, where you can send that to. If you do have any photos that you're willing to share with us, I'm going to scroll back so I can make sure I have the proper information. But you can send that to our desk. I believe that we have that information in the comments. Yes. Okay. So you can email any photos that you guys have. If you're willing to share, email them to desk@WTSP.com. That's one of the best ways to get it to us. And that's what we're seeing with these types of storms. I'm just scrolling back so I can get to comments if you guys have any questions. But that's when the National Weather Service and when emergency crews come out, so much of it is what you're putting out there and what you see. And that's part of the reason why we're out here too, so that we can show you what's going on and get an understanding of the storm and the events that have happened here. But it's definitely a different scene here in the day and in the light. So we're now going on to Kathleen Road. We're leaving West Campbell Road on Kathleen Road, and we are in Kathleen, which is in Polk County. Multiple reports of issues here. So we're heading to another one to see what the situation was. But on West Campbell, there was a lot of downed trees, a lot of debris. I'm going to flip this so you can just see that we're on the way. Let me flip that for you there. Okay, so yes, we are on the way, driving, luckily the rain has slowed now, which is great, because when there are issues with roofs and with exposed cars or what have you, rain can just compound problems. So for now, we're getting a break from the rain, which is definitely something that anyone in this area is grateful for. But that will not be the case necessarily for the whole day. So so I see some of you asking what area this is. We are in Kathleen. It's Polk County. And so you can kind of get a sense of where we are. Like I mentioned earlier, we were at Kathleen Middle School, where part of the roof just completely blew off, and trees and stuff down. Another part of all this is obviously the power issue. We just saw that on the road that we were just on, West Campbell. There were trees all over the power lines, and at this point I don't think we have an exact number, but we know that thousands are without power. And so, of course, trying to figure that out and get that handled in the midst of all this. And the tricky thing about all this was that it's been raining all day and all night. That tornado, or that possible tornado that came through West Campbell, hit around 11:30 p.m. And when I spoke to Lori, she explained that, it was one thing at night, but it was another thing to wake up in the morning and to see all that had happened. I'm going to flip this again because we are. So that, she said, was really, really difficult to wake up and see in the light. But as she mentioned, and we've heard repeatedly, and I hope that we continue to hear, she was fortunate. Her entire family, no one was hurt. None of their pets were hurt. Nothing. And considering all the damage that was done to her property, it's truly remarkable. And that's what she was grateful for. Now, of course, when you think about yourself, and if you were in that situation, we all have things that we would miss. She told me about Christmas ornaments that she had from her grandparents, that she decorates 5 trees every single year, and many of the trees are decorated with ornaments that have been passed down from her grandparents. Those were all in the barn that had the roof just completely blown off. So she's a little worried about that, but she kept going back and saying, all things considered, we're okay. And more than that, they still have the structure of the house, so she believes that they can rebuild from there, that it won't be a full, the house is still more or less standing, which was a big thing for her, that if they have to do repairs and they have to do major work, but it's different than having absolutely nothing. And she's just one of the stories, and they were very kind to welcome us onto their property and to talk to us, because I think everyone in this area, if they were impacted by this tornado or possible tornado, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be a lot of work, and there's a lot that happened over the course of the evening. So we're continuing on. It seems like we're maybe about 3 minutes away, but again, just so that everyone is up to speed, this is a report that we're seeing from 10 News that there was another home or homes significantly damaged. So we are on our way to that location. We have not seen it yet, so I'm not exactly sure what we're driving into, but we're going to keep you updated on that. Let me flip this so we can see. I see some of you guys are worried about me talking to the camera. I'm not driving. I would not be on my phone and driving. That's not legal anymore in Florida. You should have never been doing it before, but definitely would not be doing it. I am in the passenger seat. See, no steering wheel in front of me. So we are driving. I'm with my photographer. And that's really helpful when you're dealing with storm coverage, to have a team. That makes a big difference. I saw someone else earlier asking if anyone was injured. From what we've seen, and that's the tricky thing. It's still early, but we haven't seen anything yet. But we're just starting to understand what may have happened during these potential tornadoes and this tornado action, because it's still early in the day, considering this happened when it was already dark out. People are at home, people are sleeping. So, we're hoping for that continuation of good news, but we will keep you updated on that. So we're continuing to drive through the Kathleen area. This is a part of Polk where we were seeing reports of tornado activity, so just bringing you to the next location. It is interesting if any of you have been through a hurricane, the stretch of area that can be impacted can vary. It depends on the size of that storm. But we're seeing that here. The tornado came through here. There are areas that are totally, totally fine. And then, as we mentioned and as we showed you earlier in this video, areas that are absolutely not okay. and suffered a lot of damage. So we are still making our way now to our next location where we've heard reports. For those of you, I'm going to flip this around. For those of you joining us, we're taking a look. It's now, sun is up. We're able to see what all has happened here. Looking at different activity. Let me flip this again. Okay. So again, we're in Kathleen. This is Polk County. We have reports. So I'm seeing, well, you see some debris here on the side of the road. That's definitely someone has put that aside. And as we're driving here, taking a look, okay, so there's some more. You can see there part of a roof on the fence there.
Hey, you're following me.
All right, and so here we have, this is not good. Okay, and as you can see here, this is definitely what we were talking about. So you see there's parts of a house there, and they're already starting to do work because you can see part of the house just completely picked up and thrown to the side. It might be difficult to tell from this perspective, but you can see back there the house, the roof, a portion of the house on the side. This dumpster overturned on its side. Okay, you can take a look at that now. There's just this entire house has been, it seems like, kind of just ripped apart. You can see this tree completely split open. Very big tree, most of it on the ground, the other half of it still standing. And that seems to be the case with other trees around this area. They're already doing work over here. So let me flip this back. Okay, so now that we're here, we're gonna get out and start talking to people, try to get an understanding of what's going on, make sure everyone's okay. So thank you so much for watching. For those of you asking, we're still in Kathleen, so we're gonna take a look at what all has happened here. We'll keep you updated on everything everything regarding this storm and these tornadoes, both on our 10 News Facebook page here, of course, and our 10 News app, and of course on air. So, keep an eye on all of those avenues. We'll give you all the information that we have as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching.